I came back to do another live stream. Lucy came to join me. We'll angle the camera towards her a little bit. Hi, Margaret. Crazy night. I just did a live stream, but I came back because Lucy decided to join me. Is it Coriel? Am I saying your name right? Lucy is here on this crazy night. Thought it might help you guys to see a calm cat. She came to be admired. I am back, Leanne. Lucy decided to say hello, so this will be a short and sweet one. We'll see how long. I got out my Mystical Cat Tarot deck, so I thought I would do a reading with Lucy. Hi, Judy Ann. Let's see what Lucy thinks of all this craziness. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Phyllis. Lucy came back to be admired. Everybody was asking about her earlier, so I keep turning the camera towards her and she keeps kind of moving away from it. Using my Mystical Cat Tarot deck. There she goes. Showing her fluffy butt. She's starting to get mats in her fur. Thought you guys would like a little short video of Lucy live. She's kind of wandered off now. Oh, hang on one second. My blind cat is going mobile. I have to get her. Hang on. This is my senior. This is Pilar. She's going on 19 years old. She has her tongue hanging out all the time. She has had a lot of teeth pulled because she genetically has a lot of dental issues. And now at 19, she still gets dental issues and they can't do anything except put her on antibiotics when it acts up. But she's deaf and blind. Her heart is good. Everything else is good. She's very healthy. But her little tongue sticks out all the time. Her nickname is Bunny Face because she has a little bunny face and she doesn't like the bright light shining in her eyes right now. You sweet girl. She got a little abscess tooth last week and the abscess actually came through her cheek here. So she's got a little spot here where there's no hair on it. The only thing we could do is, oh, hey, Dan. The only thing we could do for her was put her on antibiotics, and I hold hot compresses on her face to draw the infection out of her tooth and out through her cheek, which is exactly what we wanted it to do. So it opened up on the outside of her cheek and drained out, as opposed to opening inside her mouth and then making it difficult for her to eat. But she's 19. She's little. She's only about 4.5, 5 pounds. She's a hugger. She likes to go up on your shoulders and hug. But she's not doing bad for, she's a little over 18 and a half now. She gets sinus issues also from her teeth being bad. So that's Pilar. But she can't see and she can't hear. So whenever she starts to jump off of the furniture, like when she gets on the sofa, I try to go grab her and put her somewhere safe because she kind of feels her way along through the house. But I think she's kind of cute with the tongue sticking out all the time. Yeah, she's a sweet girl. I had her brother also, but he passed away at 16. They both had bad teeth. It was genetic, part Siamese, part Blue Point Siamese, rescue cats. All my cats are rescues. So she does really good. Even with her tooth issues, she still eats hard food and soft food. She sleeps a lot, at almost 19. Yeah, Dan, some of the medications can cause hearing loss. With Pilar, they actually checked her blood pressure because they said a lot of times when they lose their sight, it's caused by high blood pressure. So they actually had a little kitty cuff they put on their arms and checked their blood pressure. So she's had her blood pressure checked. Her heart is totally healthy. She just can't see or hear. I have hardwood floors throughout the house. So if I'm in the kitchen and she's kind of wandering around, trying to find me, I stomp my foot on the floor so she can feel the vibration and find me. Wow, 23, that's old, Kathy. I had the oldest I've ever had a cat. I had a solid black cat when I was 43. She was 21 and a half. She passed away at 21 and a half. But she was solid black and her name was Morticia. I named her after Morticia Adams. And she was very much like Morticia Adams, very self-indulgent, beautiful black cat. She was diagnosed with kidney failure at 16. Hang on one second. I'm just going to put Pilar here on the sofa. And try to get the fur off my face. She's shedding a little bit. Morticia had kidney failure, diagnosed at 16, and I did healing energy work on her, and she responded to it and went on. Normally from kidney failure, they die within 6 months. She went on to live, 5.5 more years. And my vet actually asked me at the time, "What are you doing? How is she still alive, and doing well?" And I said, "Well, I'm doing healing energy work on her kidneys." And he's like, "Wow, we'll keep doing it." But she lived to be 21 and a half years old and died peacefully in her sleep. Giving my age away, Dan. I'm 57. I'll be 58 in April. Coriel, they do. Pilar grieved after her brother died. She missed him because they used to curl up together all the time and sleep together. They do miss each other. I lost Luna. Was I call her the gatekeeper of the house. She was the one that kept everybody together. She was the peacekeeper also. She would kind of police the other cats. And she passed away in November, and all the cats were out of sorts for quite a while. They still miss Luna. I love hearing about all your fur babies. I love it in the comments on the videos when you guys talk about your fur babies. Yeah, Leanne, cats own you. I'm just the housekeeping staff. Pilar is, I have 6 cats. I don't know if you guys have noticed through the videos, different ones that show up. Pilar being blind, I have 13 litter boxes in the house, and she still can't find them. And I had to take her over multiple times during the day to the litter box and put her in it. But she does have some accidents. I just clean them up, and what are you going to do, when they're almost 19 years old? Just grateful she's in good health and gets around pretty well. So I was going to do a reading on Lucy because everybody keeps asking me about Lucy. She was here a few minutes ago for those of you just joining. I was thinking Lucy might have to get her own channel because she's getting more comments than I am in my videos. Oh, Nathan, cute name, PNW. Yeah, Dan, Lucy actually belonged to a neighbor of mine down the street. And he had a dog, which I would see him out walking his dog, but he ignored Lucy all the time. He let her loose. He had a window to his basement that she would pry the window open and get out, through the basement all the time. But he said she ignored him all the time. And I'm like, well, he ignored her. But I was outside doing gardening. It was the first summer that I was in this house, and she kept hanging out with me all the time. And I told him, I said, you know, there are coyotes, you know, that come out of the woods at night. You really need to put her up at night because the coyotes are going to get her. Well, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. So I started bringing her into my house at night, and she got along fine with my other cats, had no problem. Immediately started sleeping in bed with me and stuff, enjoyed the house. And then I would let her out in the morning. And she just kept hanging out here and hanging out here. And when the weather turned cold, she just stayed here. She wouldn't go home. So I told him, I said, if you're ever looking for her, you know where she's at. So he knows I have her. I've had her now for 2 years, and I no longer let her just loose outside. When I take her outside, I put a little harness on her. She has a little leash and harness, and goes for walks just like a dog down the sidewalk. I have a labyrinth I built in my backyard. When I bought this house, it had a above ground pool in the back, which I didn't want to fool with. You know, it's expensive to keep up a pool, and it's so cold here. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, I would only be able to use it like once a month, you know, for 1 month out of the year. So I gave the pool away to my snow removal guy who comes and does my driveway. He has 2 little boys. And I said, I'll give it to you, you know, if you come take it down. Well, I had this perfect 24-foot round circle from the pool. And I decided I've always wanted a labyrinth, you know, a meditation path. So I spent the whole summer digging up this horrible ground. It was all compacted, you know, and had sand on it and everything else, where this pool had sat on it for years. I'm in Illinois, Coryell. I'm outside of Chicago, about an hour and a half outside of Chicago. So I dug up this ground, and I built a walking meditation path, and then built flowers in around it and catnip, of course. So Lucy walks the labyrinth with me. I put solar lights, rope lights around it so I can walk it at night also. Like when there's a full moon or on the summer solstice, I love to walk it. You know, if it's not raining. But Lucy loves walking the labyrinth, loves it. She'll hang out there all day if I'll let her. You know, I never say what town I live in. Somebody asked me, you know, is Jenn Lynn, you know, if Lynn was my last name. I never use my last name. As you guys know from all the trolls that come in, I'm worried that a Trumpster or troll will look me up where I live. So for protection purposes, Jenn is my real first name. But I don't ever use my last name, and I never say what town I live in. I don't want somebody tracking me down where I live. Yeah, Rusty, Lucy is definitely a familiar, but I think they all kind of are. Artie, who you guys have probably seen. Let me see if I can get Artie. Hang on. He's over here. Here, Artie. I'm back. Artemis is his full name. Artie was a formerly feral renting. Oh, he's getting skittish now. He's part Mancoon also, or full Mancoon. He was a feral cat at this house I was renting, and the lady would only rent the house to me if I would continue to feed the stray cat on the front porch. Well, I did. Well, you know, he's got his ear clipped. You can see, you know, it's been nipped. He was trap, neuter, release. And after being trap, neuter, released, he got very friendly with me. And now he's like a big baby for me. He likes to be held. He never would let me touch him for 2 years. And all of a sudden he got very friendly. So I brought him inside. He got along with everybody. We think, let's see, in 2012, he was about 7 or 8 years old. So yeah, he's probably about 14 now. Yeah, Artie and Lucy are huge. Artie is somewhere 20 to 25 pounds. He's a big boy, but he's a big lover now. He loves being an indoor cat. He never wants to go outside again. He had a rough life when he was a feral. He's got the big Mancoon paws. I don't know if you can see. He's got the tufts of fur that hang out on the bottoms of his paws. Big tail like Lucy. I put him up there. He comes around sometimes for some of my videos, but the lights are a little bright tonight. I have Mia. Mia is 16 and a half, going on 17 this year. Mia's in kidney failure. She's not doing too well. Shelly and then Bruiser are sisters, and they're probably about 15 years old now. So most of them are seniors except for Lucy. Lucy's about 4 years old now. Am I out of focus? Maybe I have to scoot up. I don't know how to focus. It's autofocus. So Artie, I was taking care of for 2 years outside. And I told the lady that I would continue to feed him as long as she didn't care how many cats I had in the house. Because at the time I had like 7 cats. And she was like, no problem. You know, just keep feeding this cat, you know, because she was worried about Artie, somebody taking care of him. So when I moved up here outside of Chicago, the first thing she asked me, because I stayed in her rental house for about 4 years, she said, are you taking Artie with you? I said, well, of course I am. He's family now. He's an indoor cat now. Lucy, I think, is actually the reincarnation of another cat that I had at that house. There was a stray that I tried to take care of. I was feeding, started hanging out at the house, and looked just like Lucy. But when I got him to the vets, he had tested positive for feline leukemia and had a lot of issues going on. We ended up having to euthanize him. But I took care of him for probably about 6 months before I brought him into the house, before I got him socialized enough I could bring him in. And I named him No-Mo Cats for, you know, I didn't want any more cats. So I called him No-Mo Cats. But I think Lucy is No-Mo actually come back to me because he was a wonderful cat. Good night, Noelle. So I was going to read on Lucy. Somebody asked me to read about Lucy sometime. So I thought I'm using my Mystical Cats deck. 4 of Fire is about 4 of Wands, which is happy home and celebration on the bottom of the deck here. My Mystical Cat cards. Well, she is showing up in the center here as the 3 of Earth, which is like the 3 of Pentacles. It's the working together card. And that's what Lucy does with me. She works with me when I'm doing readings. Her challenge is 2 of Sea. Her challenge is the bonding. Maybe because she has a computer screen between her and the people she would like to meet, because she's friendly with everybody. You know, my neighbors, when I walk her outside, if you guys were here, she would go up to all of you and rub on your legs and everything. She's very friendly. So her challenge is the bond, because she would like to bond. At the root of it is the Earth King. That would be Artie. At the root of her issues. Interesting. In the past, she was the fire kitten. So very creative, very warm, very loving cat, very friendly cat. And crowning the reading is the world. This is Lucy looking outside. Yeah, I love this deck. Don't you love it, Leanne? This is the Mystical Cat Tarot deck. It's a beautiful. I use it when people ask me to read on their furry babies. I've had several people in personal readings would ask me to look at their pet's health or something, or I actually am pretty good at doing pet psychic work. So I actually have channeled pets for a few people. Horses too. I did it for a friend I used to bowl with. Had a couple of horses, and he was having problems with one. And I went to his farm and could actually hear the horses talking. So Lucy up in the sky is the world for her. She's ready to go outside. She's ready to have spring come. She's ending a cycle, beginning a new one. Near future for her is the Six of Earth. This is like Six of Pentacles in the regular Rider-Waite deck. And that's about sometimes feeling like you're getting the crumbs, like you're not getting your fair share. But it's also a card of generosity and benevolence. So Lucy is a chow hound. She sometimes feels like she doesn't get her share, though, because Artie actually will crowd her off her plate. Good night, Dan. Artie will actually crowd her off the plate, so I have to watch Artie with her so that she gets her fair share. Her fortunes are changing, though. Her fortunes are changing. This is Three of Sky. It's like the Three of Cups. It's like the three muses. So it's the three cats, celebrating, partying together, climbing up on the cat towers. So that's Lucy's reading. I've had a few people that have asked me to read, like if their pets were having to have surgery or something. And because I do healing energy work, I'm always like, let me know, when they have their surgery, because I send them healing energy work at night. Kathy, yes, I can pick up on, I'm a medium. So not always, but sometimes if pets will come to me, I have had pets come through to me as a medium. Sometimes they come through, as a pet, and I can sense that it's a dog or a cat or a horse or whatever. Sometimes I get their names, just like with humans. Sometimes I'll get a human with them that met them on the other side. So like, a grandmother or aunt or somebody, I'll pick up on who met them on the other side. But I have had pets come through several times where they come through almost like a human energy, and I haven't realized they were pets. So I had a lady that I was reading for, and I said, I've got a teenager here. She feels like she's like 13 years old. I said, she just loves you. And I started tuning into her energy. And I said, her name's Margaret. And I said, no, Maggie. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, Maggie was my dog who passed away at 13. I said, well, she thinks of herself as a teenage girl. Yeah, these cards, they're kind of watercolory, so they don't always show up well on camera. They tend to glare out a little bit. But the artwork is just beautiful on them. So when I'm reading about pets, I tend to use these cards. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss, Noelle. Noelle, they pets a lot of times reincarnate faster than we do. So like Luna, I felt was the cat that I had as a teenager came back to me. With Lucy, I think Lucy, was Nomo, came back to me. Nomo was around me in around 2010. So Nomo would have reincarnated pretty fast, but Gina, you can probably find this deck on, I know Amazon probably has it. I think I got this at Barnes & Noble. This one. I love shopping at Barnes & Noble. Good night, Edith. I like meandering around books. I'm a big book person. Hey, Sharon. There's a cat person. Sharon, you miss Lucy. She was here earlier. You'll have to go back. Oh, there's B Barrera. BB Square. I just did a reading on Lucy. I did a longer live feed a little bit ago about the Mueller report that came out. So I was kind of cutting up with Lucy here earlier and showing some of my cats. Just kind of chit-chatting and getting away from the news for a little bit. So this is more of a social, other than I did do a reading on Lucy. You can back up and watch it later. That was probably Pilar. I have to grab Pilar again. She's trying to make her way back to the sofa. Pilar, for those of you just joining, Pilar's my deaf and blind cat that's almost 19. She's got her little tongue hanging out. She can't see where she's going. She feels her way through the house. But she's had teeth pulled, so her tongue hangs out all the time. She had teeth pulled out when she was younger. And she doesn't groom herself too much anymore, so I have to, give her little sponge baths, I call them, take care of her. But she's in pretty good health for almost 19. Her nickname is Bunny Face. My best friend who lives in it out of state just adores Pilar. We have a lot of nicknames for her, actually. She's got about 5 different nicknames, but most of the time she's Bunny Face or Pilar or Pee Wall to Wall when she can't find the litter box. She's very happy. She's a very sweet girl. She doesn't like the bright light in her eyes, I think, here. So let's see if I can get her to go up on my shoulder. She only weighs about 4.5 pounds, but she's actually, she's not too thin for her age. She's actually still got some muscle tone, which is amazing. She's not as thin as some of my other cats have gotten as they've gotten older. She's always been kind of little. She's always been sort of the runt of the house. She doesn't have cataracts or anything. They don't know why she's blind. She could see when she was younger, but she started going blind around, probably around 15 and a half, 16 years old. Yeah, I think for her age, she's in pretty good condition. She has some issues. She gets teeth issues still, so I have to put her on antibiotics every now and then, and it causes her sinuses to get screwed up. But in general, she's in pretty good health. She's sweet. Yeah, that tongue is always out now. She rarely pulls it in anymore. When she's sleeping and her little eyes are shut, the tongue's always sticking out. She was a rescue. I was living in Alabama at the time, and my next door neighbor was having renovations done on her house. And the guy that was renovating, he was adding a room onto the back of the house. He came over to the house and someone had dumped 4 little kittens in the back of his truck. And they didn't even have their eyes open yet. They were less than 2 weeks old. So we took turns bottle feeding them, and I kept 2 and she kept 2. So I had Pilar, and Pilar's brother, he passed away a couple of years ago. I have 6, Kathy. I have Pilar's the oldest at 18 or 19, almost 19. Then Mia is about 16 and a half going on 17. Bruiser and Shelly are sisters, and they're about 15 and a half years old now. Artie is about 14 now, we think, and then Lucy's about 4. Night, Rusty. So I was just sharing some personal time with the kitties after my other video where I was doing more readings. Thought you guys would enjoy getting away from the news a little bit. You see if I can get Pilar to settle down now. I had at one time, I had 12 cats at one time. I had 3 feral cats that I never could get socialized. Tried and tried to get them socialized. I did, trap and neuter them. The mother and 2 female kittens that she had that were adults, but I had them for about 3 years. And then I was moving into a rental house and couldn't take them with me. And I found they were really good mousers. So I found a friend of mine who had a farm and had a barn, and she wanted them. She needed good mousers for her barn. So I said, I'll bring them to you. But I said, keep them in your garage for a couple of weeks until they get used to you feeding them, so they don't just run off. So they've been down there, and they're probably gone now. Because they would have been probably 18 or 19 by now. But I had 3 feral cats that to move them, I used to have to herd them into a big dog kennel thing to try to move them because I couldn't even touch them. They were completely wild. Yes, EJ. I do. I use my cards differently for health issues versus a regular reading, personal reading. I have programmed my cards differently for working with a health reading. So like cups for me are the different organs in the body. Pentacles have to do with blood or blood work. I use wands for skeletal system, and I use swords for central nervous system, nerves, brain, anything to do with that. I'm also, as an energy healer, I can sometimes, scan the body too and pick up on different things. Sometimes my guides will give me like a little twinge, like in my own body, to signal me into where somebody has an issue. It's not like a permanent thing. It's like I'll just feel a little twinge. Do any of you guys do healing energy work? Marilyn does Reiki. Yeah, I took years and years and years ago, I had read Barbara Brennan's books, Hands of Light and Light Emerging. And I had a psychic when I was 19 that told me I was a healer, but I was young and I didn't really get into it. And then I got into my 30s and early 30s, and I started thinking about it. And I read Barbara Brennan's books, and then took a seminar with her one weekend. Night, Noel. So after I took this one weekend seminar with her and learned how to channel energy for sending healing energy work, my guides worked with me. So I kind of have my own unique way of doing it, using my astral hands and sometimes doing like a little psychic surgery. There's some things that I'm not very good with. Things like allergies and autoimmune system issues, I'm not really good with. But inflammation, swelling, arthritis, herniated disc, back issues, I'm really good with. Broken bones and stuff, helping to healing after surgery. I'm really good with kidneys from working on my cats. So I've gotten really good at working on kidneys and things, but I think it's interesting. I've worked on burn patients before. I've worked on cancer patients. I've picked up one lady that I worked on. She called me. She was panicked because she had a lump in her breast. And I did a body scan on her. I said, the lump is nothing. It's a cyst. But I said, because you got the lump, they're going to find deep on your chest wall on the other breast in the mammogram. Good night, Leanne. They're gonna find a mass deep on your chest wall, and I'm gonna keep working on you while you do your doctor's things. So I work in conjunction with whatever your doctors are doing too. So if you're going through chemo or whatever. Kathy Smith, I do healing energy work. I do for free. I'm going to torn tendons in your foot. I'll work on you later when I'm focused in. Wow. Kathy, I don't know how old you are, but one thing, women, as we get older, and our hormones start changing in our bodies as we're approaching menopause and even going into menopause, we have more of a tendency to tear tendons and ligaments in our body from the changes that our body goes through with hormones. It's really interesting. In my 40s, I kept tearing ligaments. I was like, what is up with this? And then I was talking to my doctor, and he's like, when you start going through the change, that's one of the things that happens. Your ligaments and tendons tend to get weaker with the change in hormones. Yeah, so you may be going through a little of that, Kathy, where your hormones are, it does kind of settle down after a while, kind of levels out a little bit, but for some reason, especially premenopause and when you first hit menopause, it really does a number on the ligaments and tendons. Yeah, I went through that in my 40s. I kept spraining ankles and Marilyn, are you going through chemo? I'm just going to tune in to you for a minute, Marilyn, see if it feels like cancer to me. I sometimes get sense also when I'm tuning into energy work. And I'm smelling cigarette smoke, which tells me that it might be cancer. One of the things you can do that I found very helpful with cancer, Marilyn, is meditate like a couple of times a day in the morning and at night. Breathe in pure white light and exhale negative gray matter. Cancer to me always feels like negative gray energy. It feels like, like a dense gray matter. So when you exhale all the gray matter out and envision in your mind's eye, envision that growth shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Yeah, the smoking I feel is a contributor in that. I have, I will never get on anybody's case for any addictions or anything. I've had my battles with smoking. So a lot of family karma in my family with tobacco farmers, that I grew up with tobacco farmers. So smoking is, to me, one of the hardest addictions to let go of. It really is hard. And it's something on and off, on and off. I struggled with it my whole life. It's just like, I'll quit for 4 years and something makes me start smoking again. And then I quit again. And then it's a horrible, horrible addiction. So I never lecture anybody about it. But I also don't let anybody lecture me about it when I do smoke. That's great, JC. It's a struggle. And, when you have family, a lot of times it's family karma. My dad was in a family of 10 kids. 9 of them smoked. So I grew up with all these aunts and uncles around me smoking. And then, on the other side of the family, there were smokers. So when you grow up in that environment, it's already like, it's already around you. And then when you've got tobacco farmers in your family and stuff, it's just genetically like ingrained in my family karma. I think people that smoke a lot of times too probably have past life experience with addiction, like probably into opium in a past life, or other addiction issues, so it comes up again as smoking. It's kind of nice now. I love that they keep raising the age to buy cigarettes, and they're making it harder for our young people to buy cigarettes now, although now they're all using the vape things. The vape things are as dangerous as cigarettes, but I always lecture my nephews, don't smoke, it's in our genes, don't do it. Marilyn, I wrote your name down to work on that. And if you'll drop me an email, my email address is on all my videos. If you'll drop me an email, if I pick up any messages, I'll email you back when I am really tuned in and focused. I usually have to get pretty quiet, and go in and I'll do a body scan on you. And if I get any messages about what's going on, I'll email you back. I keep a little list when I'm doing personal readings. Things come up, for people that I'm doing readings on. So I keep a little list and work on people. I don't work on people every single night. I usually alternate, like every other night. Repetition is good with healing energy work, but I like to give it a day. The energy continues to work even after you've sent it. It continues to work on the body. So I try to wait 48 hours before I do it again. And that's true, JC. Hey, Tarot's Apprentice. Well, I finished the real live feed. We were just kind of chit-chatting because I had Lucy in here. I did a 1 hour live feed after watching Rachel Maddow. We're just kind of gibby-gabbing, talking about energy work, actually, doing healing energy work. And Johnny, you have to go watch the 1 hour one. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but you got to go watch the 1 hour live feed I did just a little bit ago. I did a reading on Ivana, and we were all laughing about your video, your reading on Ivana, and I started getting some of the same stuff coming up. I think I started out with doing a few things on Mueller and Rosenstein and Trump, and then got into reading on Ivanka and Jared, and then I went into Ivana. So it's probably like halfway through that hour video. Two ladybugs, another Jennifer Lynn. This one I just came back in because everybody was asking me where Lucy was, and then I came back in the room. Lucy was sitting in front of the computer like, I'm ready for my live stream. So I came back on and did a live stream with Lucy for a little bit. Well, Johnny, I have to say, your 7-hour video, I haven't made it through the whole live stream yet. That was a long marathon. We've been texting, trying to figure out when we can get together to do another reading together for you guys. We do those by Skype. I have never laughed so hard in my life as that reading on Ivana, though. I was crying. The more you laughed, the more I was laughing. I could not stop laughing in that reading. Yeah, Kathy, Tarot's Apprentice did a 7-hour live stream one night. He's a night owl, so he tends to stay up at night doing readings, and he started kind of early evening one night. I was with you, I think, for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours watching. And he just got on a roll and kept going. I would have had to go to the ladies' room about 5 times in that time. Yeah, we do those videos together. We do them on Skype, and Skype naturally puts you in a split screen when you do readings. So like when I do personal readings, I love to do them on Skype because the person I'm reading will show up on the other side. So like when Johnny and I do those, it naturally splits the screen for us. That's why we hold the cards up dead center, because it kind of crops out around us. You don't get the full image of, laying out a full spread of cards. Sharon Catwoman, did you just laugh at that Ivana video? Lord have all the mercy. My favorite line, Johnny says. Well, I'm going to jump off here. I'm not really reading anything now. We were just kind of chit-chatting. I did a reading at the beginning of this on Lucy. You'll find that interesting. I used my Mystical Cats. Oh, not that one. I used the Mystical Cats tarot deck and did a reading on Lucy. The first time I think I ever did a reading on Trump, way, way back when I first came on YouTube. I used to say, well, I still do, but I said a lot. But getting into Trump's energy the very first time I did a reading, I couldn't stand his energy. I've gotten used to it now, so it doesn't bother me. But the first time I read on Trump, I used the Mystical Cat Tarot deck because it made it a little less icky energy to get into. Yeah, this one probably won't get a lot of views. It's more of a social chat than anything, other than it was sort of Lucy's own channel. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you probably sometime tomorrow. I'll probably do some videos. Maybe I can talk Johnny into Skyping with me tonight and do one with him. You up for it, Johnny? Put him on the spot here. He may be getting ready to do a live feed himself. Well, you guys have a lovely evening, and we will catch you soon. Thanks for popping in, even though it was just chit-chatty. Oh, if Kathy Smith, Kathy, you're still in here. Email me also, and I'll let you know if I get any messages on you when I do energy work on you. Oh, cool. Finish your pizza. Call me when you're done. Or text me on the phone, and I'll jump on Skype with you. Cool. Good night, everybody. Watch for a video with Tarot's Apprentice and Jenn Lynn later.